I have been on this path to manifesting, really being a manifester and being a conscious decider for since my mid 40s. And one thing that I learned early on, it came to me, and it was interesting how things that come to you, and they're really not of you, they come to you from spirit, have so much impact and they have so much in them, and you almost disregard them because they come to you so easily. And this basic 4-step plan has been something that I have used over those years to manifest a life in which in every moment I am constantly seeking for the joy. I'm constantly seeking for the opportunity, understanding that challenges and sorrows and tragedies are all just a magical part of life, and no longer attaching with those and learning that those are simply opportunities to grow and opportunities to find new abundance. And one thing I've really learned is that in each one of those challenges and all those dark spaces, that's where the gold lies. So I have adopted this 4-step plan for myself, and it's something that I would like to share with you. And perhaps I'll go a little bit farther in some of the other videos to really talk about each different step separately so that you can perhaps understand it, take it into more. And so each one of them involves, of course, an angel, because you might have heard about me before. I'm kind of into the angels, and they each require, or each have an action and a thing. So it's an angel, an action, and a thing. So the first one is with Archangel Uriel. Uriel helps us with focus, energy, and wisdom. And the first step is to focus on your bliss. And what this is really talking about is it's the idea of becoming very intentional and really channeling your energy into exactly what it is that brings you the highest bliss. What is it that is really what you're after? What is it that you're really wanting? What is it that really trips your trigger, really makes you light up inside? What impassions you? What is it that literally just lights you up? For me, I would say it's two things. It's number one, that my daughters are working on having a baby, and I want that grandchild to grow up in a world that is full of conscious creators who are constantly seeking joy. That is really the one thing that I'm really going for. And the other one is simply to learn how to manifest my own joy in every single moment, regardless of the circumstances. And the interesting thing is knowing that as I am focusing on those joys, and regardless of the circumstances get better. As you get still in the water, more and more of the dirt and the debris settles down at the bottom, and then the beautiful, glorious, crystal clear water is what you have. So your bliss can be a person, a place, a thing, a concept, an idea. It's just whatever lights you up. Maybe it's, a particular type of career that you'd like to have, or maybe it's the idea of starting a family, or maybe it's buying your first home, or a particular car, or taking a vacation, or just finding health, or being able to, run a couple miles, or, whatever it is for you. What is that thing that lights you up, that you can see for yourself? What impassions you? What pulls you forward? What is it that you see or seek that really is your thing? Perhaps for some it's, finding the perfect wardrobe, or, I don't know, it can be something very esoteric, or it could be something, very, very specific like that. It's an individual thing, so it's whatever for you. And it's about finding all the markers you can for that, creating yourself maybe a Pinterest page, or, creating yourself a vision board of them, or just surrounding yourself with things about that. If it was a car, perhaps you would find a set of car keys or a car tag with a particular emblem of the type of vehicle that you'd like to have, and pictures of it. If it's a house, maybe it's collecting, architectural digests or things of that nature, and getting an idea, and maybe drawing pictures of what the house looks like, just the outside, and maybe placing your picture inside of it. There's all kinds of things that you can do. Perhaps it's just even putting words on your mirror, that say things like, I have the perfect home, or I have the perfect family, or I have perfect joy, or I have perfect health. Whatever it is that lights up you, that is your bliss, and that is what you want to focus on. You want to just put all your laser focus on that thing. And what can start happening in that is that you start changing, like maybe the people that you talk to. You can start changing the TV stations or the YouTube things that you watch, or the music that you listen to, or the places that you go, or the things that you're interested in. You start changing very slowly and morphing your life to where it starts focusing in on that as well. Perhaps if you want to be an artist, you start hanging around more art galleries, or if you want to be a musician, you start, listening to different types of music. You just do things that are really focusing more on what that is that you really want to bring in. So that's the first step, is focusing on your bliss. All right, step 2. Step 2 uses Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel is about inspiration, creativity, and boldness. Step 2 is to step into joy. Now, when you hear that, there's a couple key things to think about. Joy, number one, is a state of being. And because we're stepping into it, it's a choice. It's a decision we make. Now, I want you to understand that this is not meaning that we cover over any emotions. That's what's called toxic positivity. All emotions have their right, they have their moment, they have their purpose, and they are all perfect in their own way. Emotions are simply the language of the body, and the body has the right to move its own way through life in its own spaces and have its own language and to tell us what that is. When we step into joy, what we're doing is we're not identifying with the emotions of the body. In other words, if the body has pain, we are not saying, I am pain. We are simply saying, I am a spiritual being with a body that is currently experiencing pain, and I'm on my way moving into joy. So sometimes joy is almost like this marker that maybe you don't always ever hardly get to, but it's like more of a directional. And it's an idea, like I say, it's a state of mind, it's a choice, and it's a beacon that you're looking for, and it's a filter. It's a filter that you put absolutely everything through, and you ask, is this of joy? Is this helpful to me? Does this mindset that I have, is it helpful? And also, as you step into joy, you might do things for yourself that are a little bit more joyful. Say, for instance, you are in pain. Instead of judging yourself for it, number one, you might simply understand that this can be temporary. It's just something that your body's experiencing. But you might also do things for your body that alleviate it. And one of the major things, of course, that you can do to alleviate pain is to, number one, not judge it, and not to identify it, and to exacerbate it. So many people identify with bad feelings. They identify with depression and anxiety. They identify with bad circumstances that happen in their life. They become that person. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with being any of those things. It's simply when you decide for yourself that you are going to look at life through the lens of joy, and you're simply going to see that this is just a part of the journey. It's just part of what's happening for you, and it gives you the capacity to move into something different. And that's how you step into joy, by looking through the lens of joy and asking yourself, what can I do to feel a little bit higher of a vibration right now? How can I look at this in a way where it becomes an opportunity and not a challenge? How can I look at this in such a way where I don't identify with it and I understand that everything is temporary? The only thing that is truth is something that doesn't change. And one thing I can tell you is that everything changes that we know of here on this earth. So anything that you're going through is completely temporary and is therefore not the truth, and therefore you do not need to identify with it, and therefore you have the ability to choose to look through the lens of joy. And I'm telling you that when you do that, you are going to find more joyful experiences on the other side of it. So you can decide to not step into joy. You can decide to not look through the lens of joy, but you're not going to have as good of a time. I can tell you that for sure. The third step is to take inspired action. This is where Archangel Michael steps in. Archangel Michael is about strength, protection, and motivation. And this is about when you step into joy, you focused on the bliss, you've stepped into joy. Now you're going to start getting inspiration. You're going to start getting ideas. You're going to start not even being able to not take action. And this is where you start doing that. You start taking this inspired action. You start listening and believing. That is one of the biggest things about when you start getting those inspirations. Number one is even understanding that this is inspiration, divine inspiration that's coming to you. And number two, just stepping into it. And number three, not having any expectation of what's going to happen because of this inspired action that you are being told or shown that you could execute it. And these are choices. It's nothing that you have to do. But as you take that inspired action, what happens is you become a different person on the other side of that action. So it's not that we can say you are going to have the life of your dreams on the other side of this action, but you're going to be a different person with different opportunities, different wisdom, different capabilities than you had before. And perhaps this is a step that you have to go through to prepare yourself to go on to that next thing. So the next thing is to take inspired action, believe and understand and listen. And then when you can't do anything else but, just go do. But only do after you get the inspiration, because we're human beings and not human doings. That's very important to think of. Some people think that they just have to do it into existence, and they just start doing all kinds of different things. And what you end up doing is just completely wearing yourself out and using up all your resources, rather than understanding that one who is with God, one who is with inspiration, is so much more powerful than millions of others. So if you as much as you can stay in rest and peace and relaxation and listen for that inspiration where you can't do anything else but, and then take that inspired action, you're going to see it get you so much further. But also not to have the expectation of what that looks like on the other side. To simply know that the reward at the end of the day is that now you are changed, you are different, and you are showing up different. The last one is with Archangel Raphael, and this one is to walk in faith. Raphael helps us with perfect angelic travel, health, and walking in faith, because this is where the real work is done. The real work is done when you just keep on going, when you keep understanding that your belief and your trust and your faith and your stepping into the grace of that moment is what makes things happen. It's about just staying true to that, just staying true to it. And over time, things will begin to change. If you can look at the 3D world that we're living in as being made out of ice, and in spirit being made out of steam, you can understand that things move so much slower in the ice. That is the slowest, densest form of matter, so it changes slower at a much slower reduced rate. And if you can take that in, you can understand that it is sometimes about a patience. It is about a movement of time before things start happening, before you even get glimpses of things. And even as you start getting glimpses of things, you still your mind can still play tricks with you, and it can start telling you that's just your imagination. That's not true. So it's about staying in that faith, about just walking that faith, walking that line, even if people are telling you it's not true, even if you're getting all kinds of evidences, just continue to, because faith is knowing without seeing. Faith is that just inner wisdom, that inner knowledge that is just telling you this is what is real, this is what is true, and not what others are saying or doing for you. And part of the important part of this is to only telling people that you trust what it is that you're looking for. There are people out there who they've set their ego around who you are. And if you change, you have changed part of them. And what that happens, that means that their old person dies, and now it's like you're killing them. and they will fight to the end to get you to stay the same. If you lose weight, if you decide to go for a different job, if you think about going to a different city, if perhaps you think of changing your relationships or having a child or whatever it is, getting a new car, you'll be surprised at the people that are triggered by you doing something that makes you happy. And it's not that they don't want you to be happy, it's that you are changing your aspect to them. And that is changing who they are, and they're not ready for change. But guess whose problem that is? That's theirs. So you want to make sure that you only, if there's a dream that you're going for, or something that you're wanting to achieve, or something that you're looking at, or something that is your bliss that perhaps some people would say that was not possible for you. It's about choosing those people you tell, choosing those people that you're open to, so that you're able to more easily walk in faith. And that's what's important, because even Yeshua, when he healed someone, he would say, in the scriptures, he would say, now go home and don't tell anybody that you're healed. And the reason was the healing took place in their believing and their trust and their knowing. And he knew that in that infant stage of faith, at that infant stage of manifestation, it's still very young, it's still very fragile, and all it takes is the right person to tell you it's not true for it to be changed. And so it's really important to do that, to really hold the infancy of that bliss. Hold that in your hand and make it precious to you, to where only certain few who have proven themselves, that you actually open up to them and let them know about. And the angels are always ready to hear about it, so they'll never burst your bubble. So anyway, that's the 4-step process to changing your life, manifesting what you want. Is to number one, focus on your bliss with Archangel Uriel. To step into joy, Archangel Gabriel. To take inspired action with Archangel Michael. And to walk in faith with Archangel Raphael. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if you have tried this method and how it comes forward for you. If you don't like it, you know what? Tell me too. I'd love to respond back to you. But I am going to say, if you do put a negative type of comment on there, I do suggest that you go make your own video so we can all comment on yours. And I'm going to say love, peace, and release. While I've got you, have you ever wondered more about the angels, who they are, how they can help you in your life, and what you can do, and what your full potentiality is? How do you live in joy? How do you have peace? How do you have health and abundance and good relationships? And just how can you traverse the angelic realm and finally let go of the pain and suffering that you are going through right now in whatever is in your life? You ever wondered? I would love for you to join my free private Facebook group, Divine Angelic Manifestors. You'll see the link at the end of this video, or down below rather, but go to facebook.com/groups/Divine Angelic Manifestors. It's free, it's private. I would love to see you there. Love, peace, release.